In the heart of a small, picturesque village nestled between the towering peaks of Korea's mountains, there lived a young woman named Chunhyang. She was the daughter of a courtesan, born into a life of hardship and poverty, but she carried herself with an elegance that defied her circumstances. Her beauty was renowned throughout the village, but it was her wisdom, kindness, and inner strength that made her truly unforgettable. Chunhyang had been raised by her mother in a humble yet loving environment, where the rhythms of daily life were simple but rich in meaning. From a young age, she had developed a sharp mind, an inquisitive spirit, and a deep love for her community. Despite being the daughter of a courtesan, Chunhyang never allowed the stigma of her birth to define her. She was determined to carve her own path in life, one that was shaped not by the judgments of others, but by her own actions and the strength of her heart. She had a natural grace, a radiant beauty that transcended her outward appearance. The villagers adored her, and it wasn't just because of her looks. Her compassion, her wisdom, and the quiet way she carried herself made her the heart and soul of the village. Yet, she had never allowed any man to capture her heart, for she felt that love was something that should come only when it was truly earned. One day, as the village prepared for its annual festival, a young man named Lee Mongryong arrived. He was a scholar from the capital, sent by his father, an influential government official, to complete his studies. Mongryong was a man of exceptional intelligence and calm demeanor, well respected in the intellectual circles of the capital. His father, a man of great power and ambition, had always expected Mongryong to follow in his footsteps and join the world of politics and power. But Mongryong was different. He was not driven by wealth or status. He was a dreamer, a thinker, and at heart, a gentle soul who sought a life of meaning beyond the rigid expectations placed upon him. Mongryong arrived at the festival to witness the cultural festivities and enjoy a brief respite from the pressures of his academic and familial obligations. As he walked through the crowded streets, his gaze fell upon a young woman who was dancing with a grace that took his breath away. Her name was Chunhyang. Her dance was mesmerizing. Each movement spoke of grace, beauty, and an inner strength that seemed to transcend time itself. She was a vision of elegance, her hanbok flowing in the breeze like a graceful bird taking flight. As the music swirled around her, Mongryong could not tear his eyes away from her. It was as though the entire world faded, and all that existed was her and the rhythm of her dance. The villagers cheered and clapped, but for Mongryong, there was only silence in his heart. He felt an undeniable pull toward her, a connection that was both powerful and unsettling. In that moment, he realized that he had never encountered anyone like Chunhyang. Her beauty was not merely skin deep. There was something deeper in her eyes, something that made her different from every other woman he had ever met. It was as though she could see through him, into the very core of his soul. But as the festival continued and the crowd began to disperse, Mongryong found himself paralyzed with uncertainty. How could someone like him, a man of wealth and status, ever approach a woman like her? She was the daughter of a courtesan, and though she was beloved by the people, her status in society would never allow for any connection between them. He could not fathom how such a union could ever be accepted, even though his heart longed to know more of her. Meanwhile, Chunhyang had noticed Mongryong too. There was something about him, his quiet demeanor, the way he seemed to be lost in thought as he watched her, that caught her attention. Most men in the village were eager to speak to her, to win her favor with flattery or gifts, but Mongryong was different. His gaze wasn't one of lust or desire, but of quiet admiration, as if he recognized something in her that others could not see. For the first time, she felt that someone truly saw her, not just as the daughter of a courtesan, but as a person in her own right. Yet, as the evening wore on, she couldn't bring herself to approach him, unsure of the emotions stirring within her heart. The days following the festival were filled with anticipation and quiet yearning. Mongryong found reasons to return to the village, claiming he wanted to learn more about its customs and traditions. The truth was, he could not stop thinking about Chunhyang. He would walk through the village, hoping for a chance encounter, but the moment would never come. His heart ached with every passing day, each one spent in uncertainty and longing. He began to visit the local tea house, where Chunhyang's mother worked, hoping to catch a glimpse of her, to speak with her, to somehow bridge the gap that separated them. One fateful afternoon, their paths finally crossed. Chunhyang was walking by the river when she noticed Mongryong sitting by the water, reading a book. The sunlight bathed the landscape in a soft glow, casting long shadows on the ground. She walked up to him, her heart racing as she approached. When she spoke, her voice was soft but clear, like the gentle flow of the river nearby. "Is the world as peaceful as the river?" she asked. Mongryong looked up, startled by her presence, but when he saw her, his heart skipped a beat. "It is only peaceful if we let it be," he replied, his voice calm but filled with an emotion that he could no longer hide. The two of them sat in silence for a while, the sound of the river filling the space between them. With each passing moment, the connection between them grew stronger, until it felt as though they had known each other for lifetimes. As they talked, their conversation flowed effortlessly, as if they had been friends for years. Chunhyang spoke of her love for the village and the simple life she had chosen, while Mongryong shared his struggles with his father's expectations and the pressure to follow a life of power and wealth. They spoke of their dreams, their fears, and the world beyond the village, a world neither of them had fully experienced, but both longed to understand. With each passing day, their bond deepened, and soon, their secret meetings became the highlight of their lives. Yet, they both knew that their love could never be accepted by society. Mongryong, the son of a powerful official, and Chunhyang, the daughter of a courtesan, were worlds apart. Their love would be seen as a scandal, a violation of the strict social boundaries that governed their lives. But despite the odds, they could not help but fall deeper into each other's hearts. One evening, beneath the pale light of the full moon, Mongryong took Chunhyang's hands in his and made a promise. "I will return for you no matter what," he said, his voice filled with determination. "I will come back, and we will be together no matter the cost." Chunhyang gazed into his eyes, her heart filled with both hope and fear. "I too swear, Mongryong. My heart is yours, and no matter what happens, it will always be with you." But fate, as it often does, had other plans. News soon arrived of a new governor who had been appointed to oversee the village. He was a cruel man, a man who cared only for power and wealth, and his arrival sent ripples of fear through the village. The governor's eyes quickly fell upon Chunhyang, and he desired her as his own. He demanded that she become one of his concubines, believing that such a beautiful woman would be a valuable possession. But Chunhyang, true to her promise to Mongryong, refused. The governor was enraged. How dare a low-born woman refuse him? He ordered that she be imprisoned, hoping to break her spirit and force her to submit to his will. But no matter how harsh the conditions, Chunhyang's resolve remained unshaken. In the dark, cold prison cell, she held on to the belief that Mongryong would return for her, that he would keep his promise. The villagers, who had come to love Chunhyang for her wisdom, her kindness, and her strength, were appalled by the governor's actions. Word of her imprisonment spread quickly, and many of them began to secretly plan her rescue. But the governor's power was great, and no one dared to openly defy him. Mongryong, meanwhile, was unaware of Chunhyang's plight. He had been sent away to the capital to continue his studies, far from the village and the woman he loved. But when he heard of her capture, his heart broke. He knew that he could not allow her to suffer, and he made a vow to return and rescue her, no matter the cost. Returning to the village in secret, Mongryong disguised himself as a commoner, knowing that his status would only make things more difficult. He gathered information slowly and carefully, until he finally devised a plan to confront the governor. The final confrontation was intense, an intellectual battle of wits, where Mongryong used his sharp mind and quick thinking to outmaneuver the governor at every turn. In the end, Mongryong triumphed. The governor, humiliated and defeated, was forced to release Chunhyang. The villagers rejoiced, and Chunhyang was freed from her prison, her spirit stronger than ever. When she saw Mongryong standing before her, their eyes met, and all the years of longing, fear, and separation vanished. Their love, though tested by time and hardship, had triumphed over all obstacles. Mongryong and Chunhyang were reunited, their bond stronger than ever. In the eyes of the villagers, their love became a legend, one that would be passed down for generations, a tale of loyalty, courage, and the unbreakable strength of love.